Hi, welcome to Nikki Bostwick Unfiltered. I'm your host, Nikki, and today's guest is a longtime friend of mine, Donovan. He's the founder of Antidote, which is an email marketing agency, and I was his very first client. So I'm excited. Sean is a little reluctant into coming on to this episode, but he did me a favor and he's like, why do you want to talk about email marketing? But I think it's really important. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. You don't even know what I'm going to ask. But no, I think I want to preface this interview with the fact that at the fullest, like we were predominantly just content focused before we worked together. And I just started the product.
Like public content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so while we had email marketing campaigns going often, like 4 days a week, it wasn't really focused on necessarily conversion. And Sean taught me so much. And I'm just so grateful. If you hadn't started your email marketing agency, I don't know where I'd be. But I wouldn't have known about Klaviyo. And I wouldn't have understood the importance of it. I knew that emails were a big deal. I wanted to capture as many emails as possible, or I cared about the content that I put out through the emails. But once I got the product and you started helping us capitalize on that early on with the other stuff, not just I guess what I want to say is a lot of brands, they put out email newsletters, but they don't know how to maximize it through having a welcome series or these campaigns that are automated and just happen for you.
Yeah.
So can you just share a little bit about what inspired you to start Antidote? I'm sure that, was a big part of it because you saw a lot of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a brand before doing Antidote, and I didn't do any email marketing, but I've always been interested in customer experience. And I think what was interesting to me was realizing that most brands don't spend enough time marketing to people who already are in their world or ecosystem. Yeah. And then they also don't think about customer experience proactively, about how they cultivate relationships with people over time and create more brand loyalty over time. And email, back when I started doing this, was less popular because everything was focused on acquisition. But as Facebook ads, all ads will become more and more expensive over time. That's just the nature of ad platforms. As they get more popular, they become more in demand, and then they become more expensive. So to acquire customers becomes more difficult, and then it is more and more important to create more touch points with people to make every customer that you acquire more profitable to the brand, and then also to take care of people. You actually do want to interact with them more often after you start the relationship versus just not thinking about anything post acquisition.
Well, it makes sense because if you had a retail store, you would be texting people and telling them, hey, we just got this product in. I mean, because maybe your community is small, you have a retail store in Laguna Beach and you have your customer base, and back in the day, that's how people communicated. They'd call their customers, they'd build that relationship, so they'd keep coming back instead of just put out an ad and then hope that new people come. I mean, it should be part of a holistic acquisition strategy because you want to bring them to your store or website, and then you want to retain them.
Yeah, I think now I view service-based businesses and then product-based businesses the exact same. But I think most people in product-based businesses think that it's easier or convenient because once you sell the product,
they know what it is,
or your job is done. But in reality, it's the exact same experience. If I work with you as a client after you sign an agreement, the first 30, 60 days after are like the most critical times to build trust, to create like a long lasting foundation for a good relationship. And it's the exact same thing for a brand selling a product versus somebody selling a service. But I don't think people think about it that way. Like a retail store is easier mentally because you like have to see people physically in front of you. You talk to them, and there's like a full life cycle directly, like one-to-one. But brands, I don't think like that as often. But I feel like it would be the same like online or doing wholesale business. Like if you get a new wholesale customer, like what do you text them after, like thanking them for placing an order? Like the buyer, how do you
communicate and connect? Well, that's like why Fair is so great. Like we predominantly just use Fair and push people through that, because then we can have an entire marketing strategy through their platform just to the wholesale people. Totally.
They made it easier to manage, I guess. Yeah, but at scale, I think
it still requires.
Yeah, or just like if you personalize it more and make it more special. Everyone goes through the same phases. Like after you buy something, you're always a little reluctant or hesitant after. You start realizing like, was that a good decision? You get nervous. Yeah, or even before you get it, like you get nervous. I just spent all this money. Like a buyer has the same experience. So like if the founder sends them a text message right after they buy and tells them like, oh my God, thank you so much for buying. We're going to send you like X, Y, and Z to help you with everything. Like if you need anything, you can text me or call me personally anytime. Like that alone would make it way more likely that they're going to like succeed with you and then come back and buy it again. And you could do that on every channel possible. You can do it through like physical gifts after too. And I think
and gifting to their employees.
Oh
my gosh, that's been a really good one for us.
And then also like figuring out offers that are specifically tailored for buyers or for like direct customers. I think it's all the same. I just don't think that many e-com based brands cared as much about after like a first purchase back in the day when I started doing this, because it was all acquisition. Finding new customers wasn't as difficult as it is now. It wasn't as expensive. So everyone just defaulted to that because it's like the more interesting way of doing it versus marketing to people who like already are in your world is definitely easier. It's more profitable. It's like much more logical versus you having to go find new people who've never heard anything about your product, brand, or anything. To convert them would be like 10 times more difficult.
Yeah, no, it makes sense because they were basically like, okay, it's really cheap to acquire a customer. Let's acquire them. And a lot of the brands were like subscription based maybe. So they felt like they had them already looped into
the back
maximizing
end.
Like, okay, we're going to get them and they're going to stay for like 6 months and then we're going to get as much out of them and then get on with the new and we don't give a shit. Kind of like that. I mean, not instead of where you're coming in being like, what about their experience and how can we educate them and what can we do to teach them how to use the product and to get them and retain them maybe longer than 6 months or maybe help them maximize their purchase from it. I mean, it makes so much sense. And for me last year alone, I was like looking at my Klaviyo numbers. I was like, half the sales I did was through email marketing, half of it. And 30% of that was through automated flows where I did nothing. I didn't even lift a finger. It was just already happening. So I feel like I wanted to share that with people listening because as people go on to gain new customers too, that those automated flows are what makes the acquisition model more lucrative.
Yeah, I think now I'm interested more in the customer experience, like as a whole, because you can automate.
Or what?
Well, you can automate a lot of it. Like if you could do it like on a personal level, you could do it on a brand level. You could do it through every channel, like through SMS, through email.
I was going to ask you
You could do it through like direct mail. You could do it through DMs.
That's like a whole thing right now. I feel like DMs. I mean,
DMs are automated.
But is that like
in like a similar way? I just think you can do them well if you think about the entire customer experience from front to end. Like, who do you want to be the person reaching out? What type of message do you want them to send? At what stage the person is at through their like emotional journey after they buy or even before they buy.
Yeah, so like with what you guys are doing, you're doing SMS, you're doing email.
Yeah.
And you're just such a that you give so much to your clients in general. So I feel like when we've done so many brainstorming sessions, and we're using Gorgeous now for customer support, which helps us with automating, with getting customer service from our DMs, obviously, but it's still not the same as, I mean, we have an automated response, but I feel like there are a lot of things to do on social media alone.
Yeah.
Where like someone comes onto I don't know this yet. I'm like, it's been done to me, but I haven't done it through my
You mean
business.
like the DM outreaches?
Yes.
Like if you follow a brand.
If you follow a brand and then you go on their page and all of a sudden it's like, hey, how can we help you?
Yeah.
And they have this like chat. Have you ever gone on Zen Business before?
I think so, yes.
It's Mark Cuban's.
Yes, yeah.
We just started our entire thing for Bail. We did the whole thing through Zen Business with a chat bot.
Yeah.
And it was insane.
Yes.
And it was so helpful. I mean, they've thought through everything. But
yeah, you can do that like in 50 different formats. Yeah. Like you could use like a platform, you could do it on your own. You could use AI to like help you craft ideas for messages based like on someone's like personal interests after they buy something. You could do it like before they buy through DMs. You could do it through SMS.
But like, what would you use? So like what tools do you use for those different things?
Well, we use Klaviyo and Attentive mainly.
So Klaviyo is the email marketing platform instead of a MailChimp or I don't know what else is out there.
MailChimp, there's like a bunch of different platforms just based on industry and like what you're selling. For e-com, the most predominant one is Klaviyo because of all like the customer data that you have access to, and you can do customized, personalized flows based on what stage the person is at within their like experience with the brand. So you would know like what products have they browsed, what products have they ever purchased from the brand, how often do they purchase, how often do they come back typically, and you can tailor campaigns that go out to them based on the timing of where they are specifically for them. You can do like cross-selling based on what they buy. What do you think they should try next? Those are like the basic elements.
So Klaviyo, and then what else?
Attentive we use for SMS. There's like a few different platforms for SMS. Klaviyo you can do SMS through also. Their core competency in the beginning was email. It's advanced on SMS.
But not as.
They're not moving as quickly as other platforms, but the data all being in one place is, I think, better, like depending on the scale of the brand. But the bigger the brand gets, the better it is to have all of your data in one core spot because there's no like double attribution. You can see like what campaigns drove what purchases easier without there being overlap between different platforms that don't talk to each other as well as Klaviyo talks to itself and shows
Yeah.
what campaign
Like
actually
even if
pushed
they
a sale.
integrate, it's still not as
Yeah, it's
effective.
not as direct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about SMS? Like, do you think that it's just as effective as email right now, or do you think it will be?
I think it's
Obviously,
really
they use in
effective.
tandem.
Yeah, it's very effective.
And how often do you think people should send out messages?
It depends on the brand. Like I think most of our clients, the dream outcome that they have of working with us is that they want us to generate consistent revenue, which email and SMS are very consistent if you plan for it to be. They want it to be done tastefully. And within that, like as much revenue as we can generate and do it tastefully, they're really happy with. But the minute that it doesn't feel like their brand, then it's not aligned with how they want their customers to feel interacting with the brand. So it all really depends on the brand. Like if we ended up working, we probably wouldn't be the right people, but there are companies that work or brands that don't care as much about their customer experience. And so those brands are going to be sending
a bunch
as often as possible.
Yeah, because sometimes I get so many messages from fashion brands. Yeah. Primarily fashion brands are like pushing it, like Jenny Kane, Ula Johnson, The Great. Like
they also have so many products that they're like constantly
putting new stuff out.
Yeah. But that's like a very transactional channel. I view that honestly the same as email. That's like outbound or like almost like social media content that they're just doing through SMS, which is like check out this product and shop.
But then
if you wanted to use it in like more of an intimate like community building way for a different brand, like you can there's brands that send it might be like like horoscopes like every day.
No, I know, and I used to love that, but now I'm like
but the brands that you would interact with that would do that, it's going to be so few that you're like going to be that invested.
Whereas I feel like
very few.
Every brand that I follow now sends horoscopes. So I'm like, we don't do them anymore because
also the trends of it will change.
But I
think now as people move to like more mass messaging through SMS, like figuring out weird creative ways to make it actually like a one-on-one tool
experience, like
is more interesting. Like after they buy, like if the founder sends a message, like there's creative ways that you could have multiple numbers set up for a brand. You could have channels where it's literally the founder reaching out after somebody buys, or more like a customer service person, and then you integrate with your customer service platform, and then you can start actually like talking to them one-on-one. But that's not like sales. It's not short-term sales.
It's long-term
driven.
Building,
to reach out and ask like if they need anything after they bought.
And I feel like with my brand specifically, people have so many questions. I mean, it's very simple. It's like, take this packet, pour it in your milk or whatever, and mix it and drink it. But people have lots of questions, and it's the more I interact with them, I don't know, I just feel closer. Especially when we were selling like vaginal steaming herbs, I was like getting in there and I knew everything. But now it's a little different. But
still, everyone has questions. They go through the same emotional arc if they were spending like $10,000 versus spending $100. Like after they buy, they get nervous. Like, is this going to work? Is this like actually going to, is the brand like legitimate like I thought it was when I bought this? So if you proactively realize like they're all going to go through the same stages, like I can reach out, like what would feel good for me if I was in that time period? Like just you reaching out after is like definitely going to be better than them sitting in silence, realizing like, I just bought this thing. I don't really know, like, is it going to work? Do I want it anymore? Will I wait?
How
for
long
it
is it gonna
before I
take? Yeah.
cancel. Yeah, because I'm like in a moment of doubt, which is just like a natural thing after you buy anything.
I just forget. I feel like most people forget. They're like, oh, I bought that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
like people are just ordering on Amazon.
I feel like
and
that's probably like the best case scenario is if they forgot.
No, that's me. I'm like, oh yeah. But it's sometimes you really
I
want
guess
something
then
and you're just waiting for
the
it.
doubt period might start after they get it then.
Yeah.
Like when you remember, like,
I
I bought this.
and
like,
I have to go
do
back
I
to the
really
website.
want this? Yeah.
But okay, so people can, I don't have an SMS flow. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
As soon as we're done with this conversation. But in terms of like someone lining up their email strategy with SMS and sending it out, it's kind of redundant, would you say? Or
No, I think you should just map out the customer experience, like as a whole. Like, what do you want it to look like in its most ideal form? And then you can figure out how, like, what channels
make sense
for that time. Like maybe if you're like a very high touch, really expensive product brand, like after they buy, like maybe you send them a handwritten card, like literally separately from the product, like before they even get the product. You could do so many different
what
things.
platforms do that?
There
We
are
need all the secrets.
There are a couple of platforms that do handwritten cards. One's called Handwritten.
Okay.
We've actually never used it for a brand.
So, okay.
But I've always been interested in using it.
It sounds, good.
Yeah.
I'll try it.
Yeah.
I've always
I mean, it's
wanted
definitely
to try.
used by big brands.
Yeah.
But they might do like bulk orders where they order cards, have them sent to their 3PL, and then they ship them out with the product in the box. And I think like no one looks
to just get
at the
it by
card
itself.
Yeah.
From a brand.
Or maybe
really
like
special.
a month after they buy, like if you got a card separately. Yeah. Or the other option is you literally handwrite cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I'm like too spacey to do that. I need it to be automated. No, but okay, so
but even the sentiment of sending anything is still nice.
Definitely, yeah. I think it'd be
mapping it all out together is best.
Not my product, but like a specific product. Let's say a scrub.
Yeah.
Because you were in the industry anyways.
Yes.
In the personal care industry. Let's say you had a scrub. Like, what are the things that you would do? Like, guide us through. Let's say there was a company that had a scrub that wanted to be your client.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, typically the stages, it depends on the stage that the business is at. But generally, like you want to try and grow a list. So you capture, like most of your audience coming to your site is not going to convert the first time they ever go to your site. So you want to capture more of that traffic and incentivize them in some way to sign up for your list if they're interested in the product. Doing that, you can ask questions about what they're interested in. Typically, we try and ask like a mini quiz type question that's related to the outcome that they're hoping to get through shopping from the brand. That way, like it reinforces why they're there, why they're shopping. And then we set up like welcome flows that are typically designed to educate on the problem, solution, why the product is superior for them and like perfectly tailored for them. We try and analyze reviews to see like how their customer base articulates why they shop from the brand, what outcome they're looking for from the brand, and literally just like talk like their customers talk with the goal of being understandable to their audience. And the easiest way to do that is to literally talk the way that
the founder talks or the way the customer wants
most of the time, like the customer you can find literally like good copy that's written by customers.
Yeah, like a review.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
those are really
articulated
good for
the
us.
way that they understand things. And I think speaking like that makes it feel like you understand them,
Yeah.
because you've actually like looked at why people buy
Yeah.
from the brand, like, because you do
'Cause you did your-
understand
yeah.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, not because you think they should do something.
Yeah.
It's because they had that experience.
Yeah, or
yeah.
like that's how they talk about the problem or the product. I think most times, like if you work with founders, they talk about their product in a specific way because they know the product, they know the problem really deeply, but they're also like experts in the space, so they might talk more complicated than most people understand. But if you look at how a customer articulates why they liked something, it's going to be like the most simplistic version of anything that most likely other people like them would articulate or understand exactly in the same format.
Which is why UGC works so well, right?
Yeah, I think that's
I mean, different than a review,
two
but
reasons. One, because it's articulated how somebody else would probably look at it, but two, it's like social proof. Yeah, social
that
proof.
someone else is using it.
Social proof that someone else is using it. Yeah, that's like 5 different things combined. It's like a testimonial, social proof, like value proposition, literally like articulated from someone that would buy and get value and see it the way that they see it. Yeah, and then also UGC is like better for especially smaller brands. It's like the best content that you could possibly have because of all those reasons. Like if it's done by, it has to be done by somebody like that bought from the brand or really would buy from the brand and loves the product for them to really articulate it that way. Otherwise, if you don't do it that way and you have like a lot of like paid UGC by like content creators, they might not really talk the way that people looking for that product.
Yeah, because they're just getting the talking points from the brand.
Yeah.
Versus
somebody doing it naturally. Yeah, is much better.
Do you think it's going to go away?
What?
UGC?
Oh no, definitely not.
It's just going to
That's like customer reviews.
Yeah. Like they just...
Yeah, Amazon's definitely not getting rid of customer reviews. Yeah. It's like what everyone looks at. Yeah.
I used to never look at them. Can you
remember? I look at them all the time.
I hated it. I was like, well, because like it... I don't know, Yelp reviews and like all that people love, but I just...
Yeah, I looked at Yelp reviews the other day.
I never do. But now I do because I realize how helpful they are for my brand.
Yeah.
So then I do look at them.
Also looking at the offer structure that a brand has, like to get a list, to grow a list, or even to convert people to buy. UGC is like a huge... answers a huge question, like, is this a value? How would this solve my problem? Like if you have examples of other people showing how they use it and why they love it, like that answers like 5 questions that somebody would probably have without looking at that. Same thing with reviews in a different format.
So going back to email marketing, which is all obviously related, what would you say are the main flows that you would recommend to someone who has a product or a service, automated flow? Like
just getting started.
Yeah, if they have nothing.
I would say the welcome series to introduce people to the brand and product after they sign up.
And how many emails would you say that
depends like on... honestly, it depends on their team bandwidth. Like probably like at least 3
that's what I was thinking.
Emails over time. Also depends on how big of a purchase it is. Like the bigger the purchase, the longer the consideration time. You would probably want to be interacting with those people more often over the first 30 days after they sign up. But I would say at least 3.
At least 3. And then it would be like right when they sign up for your newsletter.
Yeah.
That's different than a post-purchase.
Yeah. I would say welcome series, like any of the abandonment series. So if somebody's browsing on your site and you have their contact, you can trigger flows to try and bring them back specific to the product that they're shopping. Abandoned cart.
Yeah, abandoned cart and browsing are 2 different flows.
Yeah, 2 different flows. There's like 3 or 4 different abandonment
Really? Okay, tell us
flows.
the rest of them.
Well, if somebody's browsing, you can have an abandonment flow specifically for that. If somebody is shopping like a specific product, you could have it tailored to that.
Like browsing a specific product, but not in the cart yet.
Yeah.
So it's like just browsing on your website. Just browsing the specific product.
Exactly. Then you could have somebody that added to cart but never made it to the checkout. You could trigger something for them. And then you have abandoned checkout, and that's somebody that made it all the way through the cart and to checkout that then did not end up purchasing. They're all very similar.
Yeah.
And you can filter them so people don't get multiple campaigns that are similar. That's important.
Yeah, because if you're like
otherwise you're like barraging people. Yeah. But you can set them up so that they're tailored specifically to the stage that they're at. Those are like the highest leverage ones because they're all driving purchases. After that, you can do like post-purchase flows that are more like product education, getting people excited for what they bought before it even gets there, and then also cross-selling other products. That's important for like average order value and customer lifetime value to try and increase. And that helps profitability in the sense like if you're paying to acquire new customers, if you can cross-sell and graduate people into other products, then you're much better off.
But would you cross-sell during a post-purchase flow or leave that or do both?
Depends on the product and the brand too. Like some brands you can do cross-selling like right after somebody buys. You can do incentives to almost do like an add-on purchase right after they buy. Again, like you're at like a time of like high. If you just bought, then you're at like the highest belief stage about the product. So some brands you can do cross-selling and upselling like literally right after
I never thought about that because I was always like they should use it first.
Yeah, but then they're going to be into the emotional phase of like validating that the product
lived
works.
Up to its hype.
Yeah. So if you wait, you have a harder time until after somebody tries the product. If they have a great experience, obviously they're going to be open to buying other things. So it depends on the brand and the product and like category, and also how aggressive a brand wants to be.
Yeah. I feel like people are used to being bombarded these days though. Like they need it in a way.
I think if you actually care for the customers, then you can you could probably do much more and not have that. You wouldn't have any real issues from it. I think what people don't like though is if they buy a product and then there's no follow-up after, and the customer support sucks, and on top of it you're like trying to sell them other shit.
Then they're bummed. Yeah. Okay, what about would you do a specific post-purchase flow for a subscriber versus a one-time buyer?
Yeah, right? Definitely. Depending on what the offer is to subscribe, like if, which I think it should probably be better. Than
just to buy.
Just to buy. Yeah, then you would make it like connected to that offer and make them feel like they're part of a community. They probably should be part of like an actual community, not just through email. But then you can tailor their whole experience for subscription. You can also do follow-ups with them around the time that most people churn out of a subscription. Like that's where you can do proactive customer like experience management, where you look over past data and realize like people leave after 3 months. Like I wonder if we altered the way that we communicate with them, or if we gave them other perks around month 3, like what would that do to the churn percentage?
Like give
And
them
how
a custom,
long people stay on. You can start to affect things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much people can do.
Yeah, which I find really interesting.
Okay, so what about what other flows are there?
Those are probably the core
main
ones that I would start with. Yeah. And then outside of that, like just sending good content more regularly. Yeah, that would be where I would start. And trying to do it in a way where you are like building brand loyalty over time and not doing everything to be transactional.
Yeah.
That's where like you notice people or brands sending you almost the exact same SMS message every single time.
Well, and like during sales, for example, what are your recommendations during holiday? Because, you know, some brands do cool roundups of like how to use the product, how to gift it. Like those things are fun.
Yeah.
But then other brands, it's like, how often should you remind a customer that your product is 40% off during your 2-week 40, whatever, not 40, like 30% off during like Black Friday sale, like every single day?
I think you should try and find ways to talk about promotions that like add some type of value for people. So like if you can do a gifting roundup, if it's around a time where people gift, like then obviously they're looking for ways to be creative with gifting, then you can remind them that way.
But I'm always like, every brand's doing a gifting roundup. It's like, how do you stay creative? By hiring an agency?
Yeah, but I think also just having fun for the brand. Yeah.
Like when you work with a brand, you guys kind of take over most of that power of, I mean, like brands can give you input and direction if they want or if they don't want, right?
Yeah.
And then you guys come up with ideas and then share it with them and then go with it, or some brands don't even want you to share it with them. I'm assuming not a lot. They might share like their quarterly like marketing calendars or like themes that they have going on throughout the year, and we'll give ideas and then we'll build with them. But a lot of like the bigger brand moments are going to come from the brand. Yeah. Or like the themes, like if they have like an area of focus that they're like working on, then they'll give that to us and we'll expand on it and make it work to drive revenue and create like a healthy ecosystem in what we're doing. But the bigger brand moments, like I think that comes from the brand, obviously. So who do you follow that you like that's helped you in business?
Well, I don't follow that many people because I'm not on social media.
I mean, like, not follow on social media, but who's made an impact? What books? What
the
podcasts?
recent books that you're referring to have been from Alex Hormozy, which I would say look really cheesy on the front, but have been really helpful. Like I talked about offers. His book on offers is really interesting, I think, for e-com brands, because most people don't spend much time on offers at all. I mean,
it's helped me a lot, and I've barely touched the surface of it, and we've talked about it and brainstormed, but it's like, I think I loved when you came over and started talking about Alex Hormozy, because I feel like, I don't know, a lot of people, just like you said, dismiss the cheese. Some people buy into cheesiness too much. It looks
really cheesy.
And then you're like, oh no, these people are in the like it's not MLM, but it's almost like MLM type cultish, by like just every word he says, you know, you're just like, oh my God.
I'm still a skeptic. But the offers book is really good.
And I think that brainstorming, being open to just a new way of seeing things, is just good in general for a
Yeah.
business.
Yeah, I think that...
And not changing like drastically all of a sudden all the time, because everyone
Yeah.
says something different. But
Yeah, I think the most value that I got from that book was the framework for thinking through how to structure an offer, which honestly doesn't really have that much to do with like the cheesy aspects of it. I think most of the cheesy aspects are like around sales.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the offer structuring, the interesting part to me was that it's mostly about customer experience and like getting clear on what people want and then making offers
And delivering
and delivering value based on their problems and like how you can creatively solve them. And that's definitely not cheesy because it doesn't really have anything to do.
Yeah.
It does have everything to do with sales because of referrals. But you only get referrals if you do a really good job.
Yeah.
And the offer, I think, is a way for you to like proactively ideate how to do a really good job so that you get referrals.
Because they're happy about their purchase.
Yeah, and then you have word of mouth, and it's not like a random thing. The framework that we used during that brainstorming was to figure out the dream outcome that somebody wants. Brainstorm every single problem or challenge that they would have to get it, and then literally create like solutions for every single problem, and then figure out what's the most value out of all of these things that we could do.
And I still have like a million things.
And then you can
around
start
that,
to like stack them. And a lot of it leads into like how you would communicate with somebody after they buy to set them up to have the best possible outcome.
I ended up finding people that want to invest because of our brainstorming, because they purchased like our offer.
Yeah.
And it worked so well.
How did you change your offer?
What did I do?
Yeah, well, like what did you end up changing?
Let me tell you what it was. Because it's interesting, because I formulated my products to be used separately.
Yeah.
So it was like either this or this, and that was my whole sales pitch. But then we combined them because they can be used together and be super effective, especially for people who, when we went to the dream outcome and we were like, okay, there are people coming with depression and anxiety and all of these things, and this is an alternative, or not just an alternative, something that they can support that with whatever else they're doing. And so why not just make it so that it's part of their day twice a day to be more effective, because the literature shows that science shows that it is good. So instead of doing either or, then when we bundled it and then we gave them that framework of like, do this every day for 30 days, and it actually made a huge impact on people, then they were like,
I think that's something from that book that made me more interested. Was like, I think most people in business would want to give people more optionality. Like, you could buy this, you can use it however often you want or however little you want. But in reality, like most products, if you do that with them, they're not that effective. So then like with your offer, it's better to be more specific. Most likely it's better to be more specific, more direct about exactly what you need them to do to have the best outcome possible. And then you would sell probably on the front end less units at a higher price, which people investing the money who are also bought in, that want to commit to doing what you're asking them to do, are going to have a better outcome. And word of mouth would be way more powerful if those people told 3 or 5 other people to go buy, and then they would likely have similar outcomes because they would be more committed, versus you selling to more people up front because it's easier to sell because you're asking them to do less. Yeah. But then they have weaker outcomes. They don't really tell anyone, Yeah, because they're not really that bought in. They're not sold on it anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really not sold. So it's basically
It's
like,
so
I'm going to
true.
try this a couple times. Like, I'll see if it works, which like most products aren't going to work.
It's hard to
It's
see
not
a
gonna,
difference.
you're not going to have
Obviously,
anything
I
like
have
that.
a unique product that works right away. And so it's really easy to sell. No, but I have friends that tell me that all the time. They're like, well, like your product is like easier to sell because it's like unique and it
Or they
works
wouldn't
quickly
notice,
and-
though.
Yeah.
Like they
might
would
not
have
notice
like a
it.
lower likelihood of
Yeah.
noticing because they forget that they tried it.
No, that would definitely happen. That does happen for sure. People just say like, "Oh, I didn't notice it," yet, and it's like, I didn't. Or a lot of reviews are, "I didn't notice it until I stopped taking it, and
Yeah.
then I noticed it, so that's why I take it consistently now," which
Yeah.
is interesting. But going back to the scrub example, I
Yeah.
guess, just because like. I have a friend with a scrub brand and it's like on my shelf right now and it's not mine. So I kind of like, it's nice to do something that's not like mine. But I think about that where like a dream outcome of that would be like really smooth skin, right? And so my mom and I and my sister, we used to go to the gym and we would go in the sauna and steam. And she would always bring lemon or lime and like salt, and we would scrub our knees and our elbows. It
Yeah.
was like just this ritual that we did all the time. It was super fun. And I think about that with a scrub, where like a dream outcome is like super smooth skin, or like your elbows and your knees are like very clear
Yeah.
and smooth and lighter and brighter in terms of complexion. And so like that could be something like, do this twice a week
Yeah.
for this period of time, and like you'll actually see an outcome instead of just like, here's
Yeah.
this thing.
Or you could like incentivize somebody to do like a before and after
Yes,
type
that's a
thing.
good idea.
That way they like actually notice what changed.
Like that's
Because-
a whole campaign around before and after.
Yeah. I guess why I like the offer structure thing is because you actually have to deliver on whatever the offer is.
Yeah,
and
he
most
was a personal
brands,
trainer. Like he
Yeah.
needed people to
yeah, you have to
actually
know.
lose weight.
But that's just the reality of any business. Like in order for you to scale any business, you have to create the outcome that you say that you can.
Or else it's a scam.
Yeah, or else it doesn't work that often, or it's random and you can't replicate it, which I would say most businesses are like that. They're quite random. And it's because they're not that clear, in my opinion. Like this is me being critical of myself in the past. I wasn't that clear on the dream outcome
Yeah.
situation. It wasn't like I was that focused all the time on creating that outcome and figuring out what problems someone would have. So like even doing that experiment or just brainstorming that, you're
Yeah.
probably like 10 times better off compared to most people. Most people aren't that empathetic and they just don't spend that much time actually writing down every problem whoever they're designing a product for or working with has. So like just you doing that, you would already understand your customer base way better than most people.
Yeah.
And then like if you go the extra step of actually solving problems, like most likely you would have better outcomes.
And to speak to that, because the better outcome would lead to referrals.
Yeah.
And going back to like a cheat sheet for brands.
Yeah.
For tools. Okendo is a way to get reviews that
Yes.
I use.
Yes.
There's like Yotpo.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different review.
Tell us about review and referral platforms that you've seen brands use.
Okendo is usually the one that we use because you can customize like based on what type of review someone leaves. You can change communication with them based on the type of review
I had
that
no
they
idea,
give. So like if you had
another
like
way.
a 1-star review, you can do like outreach that's personal.
Oh, I see. Through like your
You could
customer
do it
service
through
platform?
Klaviyo and set
Okay.
up like a personalized outreach.
If
And then
someone-
it would lead into your customer service to like proactively get ahead
That's crazy.
of that.
Actually, I think I do have that set up.
Yeah. Referrals, the ones I'm talking about are literally like not incentivized
They're
and not
like,
even
get
encouraged.
$10 off if you do this. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Most people don't use referral programs. Like they're too complicated. They're hard to use. And if you like have to set up an incentive program, I think they're nice. They're like nice additions, but most brands aren't driving that much
Through
revenue through referral unless they spend like an outrageous amount of time on encouraging referrals. And even like talk about like another offer. Like you would have to set up a specific offer that would figure out like what's the dream outcome of someone referring for us. What's every single problem that they would have to get that outcome on their own, and then how are we going to solve every single one in order to have an offer good enough for them to refer. Like that's a lot of work to do it that well and actually make money from doing that. You have to spend a lot of time and effort to do that. I think like just focusing on customer experience to get referrals
naturally, referrals, word of mouth that are just showing up. But
is more beneficial probably to most brands, especially younger brands. Like if you the incentive thing is like a whole nother
I know now I'm like
thing,
very
but that's like also
transactional.
Like if you did better on the front end, then you would get more word of mouth regardless of anything being set up. Also, those referrals are probably way better. I mean, they definitely are way better. They convert more because the person's not getting like any incentive to do it. They're way more bought in to your brand and product, which means they sell someone else way better. Like if someone's just doing a referral to get a referral program
or an affiliate
thing, like it's unless they're really like love the product for that specific reason, it's probably not going to be that effective versus doing the organic referrals. Like way better. Also, most people buy through warm referrals. Like if I get referred something, there's like a really high likelihood that I'm gonna buy because I trust the person that gave me the referral and they were so overly confident that it's about like whatever they're telling me about. Yeah, that it's like so easy to buy. I think the referral program thing, like of using platforms to do it, probably makes most brands spend too much time thinking about how to like gamify that instead of gamifying the outcome. Yeah.
So like
in my opinion,
and how obsessed I am with Antidote.
Yeah.
And how I think everyone should sign up and have your expertise.
Yeah.
Because I really do with that. No, it makes sense.
Yeah. Like you referring someone to work with me is because I don't have any incentive is way better
than me
trying to set up some incentive. Like that would actually maybe have like a negative impact in some cases.
Yeah.
Like if you got an email from me that had some incentive in it for you to refer, if you already loved the thing and were referring it all the time, and then someone offered to like pay you for referrals, it might actually be like a negative thing where it feels forced and you were already doing it.
Yeah, because then it's like...
Anyways.
Well, then it goes
back to
it feels more
desperate.
Way that what we were talking about, how then I might talk differently about it.
Yeah.
And then I'm talking about...
Yeah, or you just have different like bias set up because you're trying to do something. Yeah. As more of like a sales pitch versus you just literally saying what you got out of something. Yeah. Like think about all of your referrals for like the dentists that you go to.
Yeah, they're so effective because I don't
And does she even ask
don't-
you for any referrals?
No, she doesn't ask me, and I don't get anything out of it.
Yeah.
It would be great.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
But if she asked you for referrals and was like more aggressive about getting you to refer, it would probably
be the opposite.
It would
I
probably
wouldn't do it.
change. Yeah.
Whereas I literally send everyone there
Yeah.
to my detriment.
Yeah.
Because people are like, really? No.
Yeah, but imagine her setting up a referral like app.
No, it would not be.
Unless it was like really well done. If it was really well done, then maybe it would be helpful.
So yeah, I need to do a really well done referral app. No, I feel like if you really want to stand behind something, then it's fine. But it has to be someone that's like, I mean, it's really rare to get that person. Usually what happens is people are like, great, I need the $10. I'm
Yeah.
going to make 10 different emails, send it to myself, and I'll get the $10.
I guess that's true. I guess that's true for like cheaper or less expensive products. Like your dentist is expensive.
Yes.
So for that, it might feel odd. But for something that you're already buying,
yeah,
and you're already referring, like if you can get some extra money from it, that's why you do generate income from those programs. But I'm just saying, like, it's not like you're going to have exponential growth from referral programs unless you spend an outrageous amount of time working on them. I think what you get is most people that are already referring accounts because they're already
themselves
referring.
Yeah.
And then they're like, already, this is like more beneficial for me now. So maybe they refer a few more people, but it's probably not that different from what they would have already done if they're like that much of an advocate for something. I don't think.
What do you think are the top trends that you see happening in the D2C space right now? I know it's like a umbrella question, but
top trends like spending more time on retention and lifetime value and bringing people back more often, definitely huge because of the cost of acquisition going up. Cross-selling, like just spending more time on the back end is way more prevalent now for sure than it has been. I think also like looking at retail expansion
ask you about that.
Is definitely, I think,
it's happening.
Crucial. Yeah, I never really like steered away from retail or wholesale businesses. Like I've always worked in heavy wholesale based businesses that had big e-com presence too, and I think there was like a big swing to go only direct to consumer. I think it's better to have
both.
Yeah.
Well, like think of Coterie diapers.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, any of the big successful brands are going to be online. They're going to be anywhere anyone shops mostly.
But do you have a specific email strategy that you have for, because when a direct-to-consumer brand really goes into retail, not just in the boutique retailers, but heavily in big box retailers, then they have to have sell-through. And what is the email strategy for something like that, for getting the word out? Or is it more just ad strategy?
I mean, I think probably more so it's dependent on the retailer, and the retailers will tell you what marketing works for sell-through. And for them, we do marketing for brands in retail through email, but it's more like awareness. It's not. Yeah. It's not like you can track conversion. Yeah, it's more awareness. If you had like a really big audience, maybe that would be like a selling point to a buyer to be like, we're going to push
through email.
We're going to push through email. We have 1 million subscribers on our list, or some outrageous number that they then know that you're like co-marketing it with them would definitely be helpful.
So,
But I think most of the time in retail, what I've seen, like retail stores have playbooks that they know generally work for them. They're also willing to commit like financial investment, like co-invest with the brand into that marketing. I think in general, like you just have to have good brand marketing on every channel and be talking about partnerships that you have going on. But like driving actual sell-through, like if you're in Whole Foods, they would probably tell you that you have to do like in-store tastings at every location, which is expensive. They'll also invest in doing it. So I think retail growth like is probably separate most often. Yeah.
Unless you could like,
I mean, it overlaps.
unless it's regional and you say we're going to target to this region and do a whole.
Yeah, but even that, like, I just mean like you're going to do that by nature, regardless. But like the real sell-through is probably going to come through whatever they tell you
to do
works.
Yeah, because they know.
Because they know. Otherwise, they wouldn't be like putting money up to help you do that thing. Yeah.
That makes sense. Because, I mean, I think during COVID it was just so different. Obviously, tastings weren't happening.
Yeah.
But grocery was booming. So I'm curious the difference now. But it's...
I think it's probably back more to like playbooks that worked pre-COVID. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In my opinion, and from what I've seen, like a lot of the brands that we work with are like expanding in Target. Like they do marketing with Target. They just like invest time with those retailers, and they are getting feedback from the retail teams on like how can we help you drive more sales, and then they put investment into it. So that is like a fully different channel. Most of the time we're not really that involved outside of like sending regional campaigns, doing campaigns for national retailers to brands that have big audiences. And I know it does affect the relationship with the retail stores. Like they like it because you're helping and just like showing commitment. So I think it's important, but it's not like it's going to be like the most impactful thing. Yeah. Which is, I guess, bad for me to say, but true.
No, it makes sense. What about, social media? Have you seen do brands that you work with tend to do social in-house or have an agency for it?
Honestly, I don't even know. I don't know. I think most of them have help externally. Definitely. They might have like one or two people in-house that are doing the management and like curation and strategy for it. And then they have outside help doing execution work outside of like paid ads stuff. Yeah. Most of them have, unless they're over a certain threshold in revenue, most are working with outside help. So you think
first it's like outside help and then they bring it in-house?
I mean, unless one of the founders ends up being like an expert in scaling brands through paid advertising, or they're willing to learn themselves. But even then, like you should hire an extremely good like consultant type situation to teach you how to do it. And then you
paid ads though.
Yeah, you could, or anything like, even just, in my opinion, anything. Like if you didn't know how to do
Amazon.
You would definitely go find someone that knows how to do it. If you were going to do it in-house, you would have them teach you everything about what they're doing. And then you would scale it to a certain point over time. And then maybe you would hire in-house or bring in extra outside help. On paid ads, it's the same thing. But most of the time, brands are hiring outside help. I think they should probably do it internally and hire like a highly paid consultant to teach them how to do it.
Because they understand it best.
Yeah, and then also like the founders or whoever's working on it can learn how to run paid ads. If you're below like a number in monthly ad spend to make up for the difference of paying
Agency
an outside group,
fee,
like, yeah, it's going to be really difficult.
Yeah, because you're like paying $5 to $10,000 for an agency.
Yeah.
Just for their retainer.
Plus you have to put money into the ads. Yeah.
Which is crazy. I mean, I've never.
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet. And
I think it's better off that way. Yeah, but most brands don't do that unless they're really focused on that.
You mean most brands do what?
Most brands would hire somebody out externally. They would hope that they could like accelerate where they are.
No, I mean, I haven't done it because like we just haven't done paid ads.
Oh, you haven't done paid ads at all? Yeah, that's even better.
Because of all the things that you're talking about. Because I feel like before doing the paid ads, really focusing on the emails, I think is the first step. Then, even though paid ads go into the email, if you don't have the emails really set up properly, you're just losing money. You're bleeding.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you do focus on paying an agency for emails like you, or learning, or like you're saying, getting a consultant to teach you to do it in-house.
Well, I guess that's the same thing though. Like the way that we worked with you, we like set everything up so that you could scale things over time. And then you took it over in-house to like do the day-to-day management of it because of the stage that you were at, and you had internal help that you could do that. So that makes sense. That's like hiring a consultant to like help you set something up and then taking it over until you get to a certain point where it makes sense to like hand it back off and improve again on what you're doing. Yeah, I think that way is like far better. But your way of growing too, like you have other avenues, like you have affiliate situations.
Been the most helpful,
Yeah, so in that case, I would probably spend like 10 times more time on that. And I would almost ignore the paid ads and just say like, well, this channel really works for me, so I'm going to go way deeper in just doing this and see how far
you can go.
I can take this. Yeah.
Well, because like if we're talking about word of mouth and how effective it is, I feel like even though affiliates are an in-between of referrals and word of mouth, depending on how you get them signed up, it's like if they just sign up on their own because they just love it so much and they just want to, that's kind of how we've done it. It's like I just do it because I have friends that love it, my product, not because I'm really trying to push. But you could. For sure. And that's actually more like advertising. Because you're just paying somebody to do an ad to their audience. And if you find people that already like the product, then it's way easier for them to do an ad because it's like more genuine. They believe what they're saying. And then it's like a referral. That's why those are way better than paid ads. Because those people stay on so much longer.
The people that come from
an affiliate.
From the affiliates.
Or someone that they admire.
Yeah.
Because they're saying...
They trust them.
Yeah, they trust them so much that they're willing to make it... Maybe it's something that didn't work in the first couple days like it does for most people. But they're going to stay on longer to see really the results. And
that's like a referral in mass.
Yes. I know, I love it. I never want it to end, and I want everyone to have that. But then it never would have worked out for me unless I had a really good email marketing strategy to like keep them. No, I'm serious, because it's like because if they're going to come on the website.
Yeah, but you were also doing something else before that led into that. Like you already were building content for an audience. You grew an audience building content, just trying to give value to people. So then like to set up the foundation of everything after that is like you already have the ingredients of people like trusting, being involved in the community, liking the value that you're giving them. So then that's like hiring us to like improve on what you're already doing is that's like an easy win.
Yeah, instead
versus like I'm not doing anything to provide anyone any value. I'm just only doing this to make more money.
Which I sometimes I'm like, I should have done it that way. But
it's more immediate, but
yeah.
it's also less potent for sure.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
the best brands that we work with have audience building skills.
Yeah, because they truly trust the brand.
Yeah, and most of the time the people understand the customer problems way better than anyone else. That's why their content resonates too, because they talk about problems that people have. They give them recommendations of how to solve them. It might be totally unrelated to the product that they sell. And then everyone that they like, their content spreads because it's shareable, because it's valuable to people and it's like helpful.
Yeah. Well,
and then people trust them because it's like, you're literally helping improve my life. So if you launched a product after doing that,
then
you would have way more people that were like ready to support you and buy it. Also higher likelihood that you actually make a good product that actually solves a problem because you spend more time getting to know problems that people actually have. Yeah. I think most of the time there's really like no shortcuts. Yeah, like if anything, the brands that like really blow up that we work with have people working on them that have been working on similar problems for a long time.
Like Dr. Sarah, right?
Yeah, like from Arma.
She was working on that.
Yeah, for a long time. She's like an expert in the space. She's like had issues herself that she helped solve with the product. Yeah, she knows literally every problem intimately and was building rapport with people for a long time before that by being a doctor. Like, like her trustworthiness is so high versus somebody that was to come in and say like, I want to start a brand
just
because I want to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make this product. Like, it's going to be way harder.
Yeah, people can sniff it out.
Yeah, it's also just more work. Like if you wanted to do that, like if I wanted to start that brand, then I would have to figure out like who the hell knows about this problem. Like I have to go hire them to make content because I don't even know anything related to this. Like how am I going to make a good experience if I don't even know anything related to the problem? Like it would be exponentially harder, which is why most of them are not that good.
Yeah.
In the first place. That's why like your situation too, if somebody looked out from the outside in, everything looks shorter. But then if you talk to them, it'd be like, I've been working on this for years.
Yeah. People don't see that.
And then something will click. And then on the outside, it'll look like, oh my God, like maybe you just popped this up to do this thing. But most of the time, that's never true. Yeah.
Mistakes.
Yeah.
But not mistakes. Just
a
roundabout way of getting there. No, seriously, I know. I mean, Mickey Agrawal, do you know her? She started Tushy.
Oh, yeah.
But before that, she started the underwear brand. What was it called, Jess? Thinks, yes. And like, I mean, she had such bad press, but she used to say this. She was like, people think you're an overnight success, but it takes decades to be an overnight success. And she blew up, you know? Yeah. And then she had a major following. But yeah, I think a lot of people are like that for sure.
I feel like that's probably literally everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like to the people watching this who have brands, what clicked for me was email marketing, and not because Sean actually wants to promote it, but because I feel like it's my duty as someone who...
Well, thank you.
No, seriously, I feel like it's my duty as someone who went the roundabout way of building a product line. Not that I like ventured out to build a product line first, but to make actual money, to actually care to make money. Because before I was like, this is fun. I just think that having an email, I mean, I got very lucky and I had a lot of people who believed in my product and promoted it. But if I didn't capitalize on that by having a strategy that works, I wouldn't have been able to be profitable still and like pay my employees and continue to pay all the expenses that go into having a business. So I feel like I appreciate you coming on because
thank you.
I also just really, I mean, obviously I just love you and your wife and your family so much, but again, it's not like empty promises. And I think that that's what works for your company and why you were able to scale it as well, and why so many brands are wanting to work with you, because you actually deliver. And it makes a difference in people's lives and makes it so much easier. So people can focus on what they're good at and then allow a company like you to help them, you know, whatever, be good at what they're doing. I mean,
building it in the same way that the brands are built is, I think, why it works out well. Like, we have an offer that's compelling because the value that people get from it is much greater than what they put in. So then they refer other people. I think, like, if I focused on advertising, then it would probably be a shittier thing.
Well, people would see it as like cheesy, maybe, but it wouldn't be cheesy like Alex Ramosi,
no,
because you just can't.
It would be.
No, you just. But yeah, no. I want to say this before we get off not the phone, the internet, whatever we are on, the podcast. I get hit up by brands. I mean, 10 different brands a day. Like, I wake up and I'm like, swipe, 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 get out of my fucking face. I don't want your agency's help. No, it's like the most annoying thing, because I think Klaviyo just like gives it out for free.
I don't know if they do. I think people are just doing mass cold email outreach, cold everything.
I swear, ever since I got on Klaviyo, there's like massive
I mean, it might be.
More,
actually, that's probably true. Like, you could probably scrape contact lists of like customers who use Klaviyo. And I've never thought about doing that, but you could probably do that.
People do that. And obviously there's DMs, there's outreach that way in terms of like cold emails, but this is just like more agencies knowing that we're a business that does email marketing. But
also every client tells me that that they get hit up all the time.
It just seems so lame, because I'm like, I don't know anything about you. I want nothing to do with you. And some of them get clever, you know, and you're just like laughing to yourself, but I get scared of even opening it because I know they'll know they opened it. So I'm like, don't tempt me. I'm just going to delete it anyways, but sometimes I get clever. But yeah, like yours isn't like that. It's all referral because it actually works, and it's interesting to scale a business that way.
Well, it feels the same way for you. It's like it feels better than you spending all of your time on paid ads and then having like shitty customer
that's how I feel
relationships.
Like, I don't want those customers.
They're
not gonna have the same. I mean, at some point I'm gonna do it, or like we do Google right now. That's like as much as we've gone into, so that like they could see us on Google basically. But for a paid ad, I feel like it's like a different. Okay, my sister's a great example. She loves an Instagram ad to get her to buy something. Like, we talk about it all the time. My mom and my sister, they're like, but my sister more so. It's like you go to her house and it's like an Instagram ad of like every product that was marketed to her, and she does it. She buys it once though. Or she'll get on a subscription and then she'll forget to cancel, and then she'll finally cancel. But it's like, she's the type of customer that like maybe if I courted her, she'd stay on. Like, she's still not like a bad customer. I don't want to say bad, but someone that like, I don't know what a bad customer would be, because that's rude to say, but someone who just wants it.
Well, I guess like a bad fit.
Yeah, a bad fit is what I should say.
Yeah, not good.
I feel blessed that like my product really does have really quick results.
Yeah.
Because it's easier. than even Armra. Like Armra, you just have to buy into the fact that the colostrum's working. Like you don't actually know.
Yeah, or you would have to like keep track of your
How
results
sick you get,
or how like how you're
allergies.
feeling. Yeah.
Whereas like
Which is more difficult.
way more difficult.
Most products are pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like, but I don't know. With the baby products though, I will say like she buys every baby product on the market. And I feel like she'll keep doing that one because I don't know. It's an interesting psychological thing where it's not for her and she thinks it works for her baby, because how would you know? The baby can't really say anything unless it's like a skin thing.
Yeah, the baby market, I mean, there's a few markets online of like online advertising work extremely well. Baby products would be one.
Baby supplements. Because how would you know?
Or dog supplements.
Yes, I know. I really wanted to do a pet. I can't get into that conversation. Okay, so how can people connect with you? Like obviously Antidote, they can reach out to and sign up.
Yeah.
Hopefully
our
you'll take
website
them on.
is extremely old. Hopefully we'll have a new one soon. You could find us at antidote.email and reach out that way. Or
are you on Instagram? You're on Instagram.
We are on Instagram. We're not very active. We kind of hide.
They can DM.
Yeah, you could DM us, or honestly, the easiest way would be through the website.
Or contact his wife.
Yeah, exactly.
She has a great brand. We'll have to chat soon. Angel Energy. So yeah, check them out. Antidote.email is their website. And then you can try and find them on Instagram. He's very on the DL. He's like a magician, an agency that's like a magician that only works on referrals, and I'm giving you a gem. Anyways.
Well, thank you for having me on.
I really appreciate
I hope this was
on.
at all valuable.
I'm definitely gonna air this conversation. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll chat more in depth soon. I want to keep having you on.